Okay, so this is our question. Okay, now I'm showing you it on the board for a couple of reasons. One is because you'll obviously be able to see me go through it, but the other reason is because in the book, I would say kind of cuts a corner. Okay, and I'll explain what that corner is as I go on with it, but let's not pay too much attention to what the book has. The book is right in pretty much everything that it does, but it just, as I say, cuts a small corner in it, which you don't really want to get into the habit of doing. Okay, when it comes to doing this, because it adds another layer of kind of complexity to it, if nothing else. So when you get one of these, what you're looking to do is to start off. We're given the formation level, so I put that in, and we were told that A was at 70. Okay. Now, what we were also told was that the gradient was 1:15 and it was rising. Okay, so a few things. What we have with this is we have our information like we would always have it. So we have our cut, we have our fill, except this time now we also have a gradient. Okay, so this is new, and I have a gradient triangle here as well. And the same things happened with the gradient as would have happened with the cut and the fill. So our distances in between our contours here are in fives. So I multiply by 5, and I'm going to do the same with the gradient to multiply by 5, okay? Because we're looking for our 5 meter ground contours here, and the distances that correspond to those, okay? When we go to look at them. So we have the cut is 5 to 10, we have the fill is 5 and 7.5, and then we have the gradient is 5 is to 75, okay? So just multiplying it up. Now, what I also have here is I have cut, I have the low beside this, and I have the high beside this. Now, this has to do with the cones that I was just talking about. So we said that the cut went on the low side, okay, and I'll show you that in a second, and then the fill goes on the high side. Now, whenever we're doing these from now on, okay, you'll always write down cut, low, fill, high, okay, because it'll just always help you to make sure that you put your cones in the right place, and it's a good habit to get into, okay, because it's in the high and the low here is where people can make mistakes. So the first thing we do then with the actual question is I start off, my A was at 70, and then my gradient is 1 is to 15, so it ends up at 5 is to 75. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along 75, and I might get another 75 in there. Okay, so what I have here is that I have 75 here, I have my 75 here. And what we want is we always want the row to end up at one of these kind of intervals. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to extend the road out just until it reaches another 75. Okay. Now the thing with that is that it just helps because it ends up getting a space for your cone to actually go. Okay. So, well, if we need it. So what we had is I get my line coming out here. I get my road coming out to it. So my road comes out to here and to here, and then I would just have a slightly longer road. Okay, but that's not to worry about that. Now these, because the gradient is rising, I have 75 here, I have 80, and then I have 85. Okay, because it's rising at each one of the intervals that we're looking at. So going on to then doing the cut and the fill, what we're doing is that we're going to work in sections. Okay, so we're going to work 70 to 75, 75 to 80, and then 80 to 85. Okay, this is where the book is slightly different in that the book skips 75. Okay, now you can do that, but it adds another kind of level of difficulty because you have to start multiplying all of this stuff by 2, and kind of it's just messy. So you're better off doing it in your fives because it just makes it simpler to look at. So what we have is that we have, for the first part, 70 to 75 is going to be fill. The fill goes on the high side, okay, and we're saying that we're going to have a cone and that the cone is going to look like a circle from above. Okay, so what we have then is that if I want to get the fill on the high side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, high, 7.5 is my distance. I'm going to get my compass and I'm going to set it to 7.5. So 7.5 my compass. I'm going to go to the high side, which would be the 75. Okay, so I have 70 and 75. I'm going to go to the high side here to the 75, and oops, and I'm going to swing a 7.5 millimeter circle, and I'm going to do the same at the bottom because we're going to be working on the bottom side of the road as well. So let's do the bottom here as well. Okay, so what you have then is you have your the top of your cone under the top and the bottom. And what I said to you then was that we had a line. So that cone now, what we're saying is that that cone is at 70. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to join this as a tangent. Now, you don't have to do a tangent construction, but just close enough from this. So what I'm going to have is, let's get my green there. So I'm going to have a line on this side, and I'm going to have a line down on this side. So for the top and for the bottom. So I have 2 lines there. Okay, now the height of those is where it came from. Okay, so the height of this is 70 because that's where it came from, and the height of this is also 70 because again that's where it came from. Okay, so what we're going to do then is then keep going with the question the same way as I would have done it before. So but instead of going parallel to the road, I'm going to go parallel to these 2 lines that I have. Now I'm going to leave the bottom of the row for now. I'm just going to go with the top. So I'm going to come up with my 7.5s. So up with my 7.5s. You can slide your set squares or use your adjustable set square to draw those in. Okay, and we'll have, so this one's at 70, then we're going to have, because this is fill, we're going to have 65, we're going to have, whoops, we're going to 65, we're going to have 60, we're going to have 55, and we're going to have 50. Okay, and then it's the same as what we would have done before. So I'm going to have 55, 60, 65, 70, it's over here. Okay, now what we have then is that we're kind of going into the next section. Okay, but the thing is that in the next section the angle is going to stay the same because we're still looking at it being filled for the moment. Okay, so what I can do is I can just then go to this. I can draw in. So I can keep my 70 going if I want to. And then I can come to 65 to 75. So when I get from this, the next one is going to be going up one. Okay, it's going to be 75. So you can either go like this or you can draw in your arc again. So maybe at the start it might be as easy as to draw your arc again. So if this is going to be still fill, I'm going to draw in my fill cone. Okay, and you'll see there again that when I came from that, it's still a tangent. Okay, it goes because the angle stays the same. So I have 75, and I just need one more then because I need this to get to the road. Okay, it has to go into the road. Okay, so I need an 80. So what I can do is I can come 7.5 down another one, which brings me to here, and I can actually bring it into the road. Okay, so I'm bringing it into the road here, and what I get is I get an 80 here. And what's happened then is it's come all the way along, but enter the road here. So what I get is I get my line coming down through each one of those points, and then into the road. Okay, and that's then what gives us the point there where it stops being filled and goes level with the road. Okay, so that's what I was saying about earlier when I said that the road at this point here would be, as you move along, it's getting higher. So you'd have 75 or 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. And so finding this point has to be done by going into the road because we have no other really way of doing it. Okay, so that's the fill. You do the same at the bottom. For the cut then, what you have is, we said that cut, for what we know here is the cut has to be on the low side. Okay, and we have 5 and 10 here, so we're going to have 10 millimeters. And if you look at it here, this goes halfway into this section. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to work in this section because we haven't finished this section. Okay, so I'm going to work in this section. If I have the cut is going to be 10, okay, I know that the cut has to go on the low side, so the low side of the road here is at 75. Okay, so I'm going to put my cone on this side. Okay, I'm going to set my compass to 10, and I'm going to draw my arc on this side. Now it doesn't matter that there's already one there. This one's just going to go on top of it. Doesn't, as I say, it doesn't make any difference. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to join it back to the other end, because I'm working in this one. I'm going to join it back to this end here, and this one then gives me my angle for my cut. Okay, and because it's come from 80 here, this is it. That red line is at 80. Okay, then same thing again. I'm going to come up at my distances, so I have my 10s this time because 10 is my cut. So we're coming up at 10s. Side and the set square is going parallel, so parallel here, and I get this. Again, don't worry about how far you go with them because they're only construction lines. Okay, so I have my 10s, and what I'll do then is just put my numbers here. So I get, if this one was at 80, I'm going up now, I'm going 85, 90, 95, I've probably come too much here, 100, I've come up too many, but 105, that's no problem either if you go too many up. So this time what we have then, if I go here, I have 100, so 100, 95, 90, 85, 80, and we haven't got to the road again, so I need to go down one more again, okay, because I need to get it to go into the road. So I'll come down here, we go down 10, or it matches up with the 75 otherwise if you want to do it that way. And I get 80 and I get 75 here. Here's my second one, and what you'll see here this time is that this point should be, most of the time, these should meet. So when I come through here, you'll see I go through, I end up going through that point and bringing my line up. Okay, so what I have then is I have, coming up here, I have my line going up through each one of those points. Have the same on this side. So coming through each one of the points there. And you'll see then if you wanted to keep going, dash down here, dash down there as you could. And that's then your cut and your fill. And don't forget then your tadpoles then to show your cut and your fill. So we have one here, not too many of them, just enough to show what we're trying to do. And then my cut. And that then is the top. So what this is all about is going into your different sections, figuring out whether it's cut or fill, and then you'll know then from that whether or not you're doing the cone on the high side or the low side. So remember, these aren't just arcs, these are cones in a plan. Working through each one. If you don't get to the end of one like we did here when we got to this, you need to work within this one for the next time. If you got all the way through it, then you could skip it if you need, if you would already finished this one and just go on to the next one, but we didn't, so we kept going. And what we always just need to make sure is that our lines for our earthworks always go through the road so that we know where it hits to be level. Okay, where the road is level with the cut and with the fill. So that's the top side. The bottom side is the same, which you should be able to do now that you've seen how the top side works. So I'm going to leave that bit. And yeah, that's it.